Henry Cavill's striking performance as the titular character and a sprawling ensemble cast, The Witcher has taken the streaming world by storm. But beyond the stunning visuals of magic, monsters, and destiny, what makes this series truly remarkable? Join us as we analyze the show's strengths and weaknesses, examine its faithfulness to the source material, and unravel the complex narrative threads that have captivated audiences around the world. The Witcher is a Netflix series based on fantasy novels written by Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski that has since been adapted into various forms of media, including video games, a television series, and a graphic novel. The story takes place in a medieval-inspired world where magic, monsters, and politics intermingle. The Netflix series follows the adventures of Geralt of Rivia, a witcher who possesses superhuman abilities and is trained to fight monsters. Witchers are also known for their ability to use magic, but Geralt's powers are unlimited, and he relies more on his physical strength and combat skills. Throughout the series, Geralt encounters various characters, both human and non-human, and becomes embroiled in political and social conflicts. The themes explored in the series include identity, destiny, morality, and the nature of humanity. In Season 1, Geralt is hired to kill Astriga, a cursed princess, but discovers that it's the result of a curse. He also meets Yennefer, a powerful mage who becomes his love interest. Meanwhile, Ciri, the princess of Cintra, is forced to flee after her kingdom is destroyed by the Nilfgaardian Empire. In Season 2, Geralt and Ciri reunite and travel together to Kaer Morhen, where Geralt was trained as a witcher. They meet with other witchers, including Vesemir, who trains Ciri in the art of combat. Meanwhile, Yennefer is taken captive by the mage Vilgefortz and the sorceress Fringilla, who are working for the Nilfgaardians. Geralt and his companions must join forces with various allies, including the elf mage Francesca, to stop the Nilfgaardians from invading the north. The Netflix series and books both draw heavily from the original source material, with the show closely following the events of the novels. However, the series takes some creative liberties with the storylines, introducing new characters and diverging from the original plot in places. For example, the character of Jaskier, known as Dandelion in the books and games, is given a more significant role in the show, and his character is developed differently. Or the character Cahir, who in the books and games is initially an antagonist, serves as one of the main antagonists in the Nilfgaardian Empire's invasion of the Northern Kingdoms. However, in the Netflix series, Cahir is given a more sympathetic backstory and is portrayed as a more complex character, with his motives and loyalties being more ambiguous. On the other hand, video games are set after the events of the books, and while they follow the same central characters and storylines, they are not considered canon in the book series. One significant difference between the three adaptations is the portrayal of the protagonist, Geralt of Rivia. While all three versions share the same stoic and unemotional character traits, the games and the books dwell deeper into his backstory and personal relationships, whereas the show takes a more episodic approach, with each episode following a self-contained story. The overarching theme of The Witcher is the exploration of what it means to be human, as well as the consequences of the choices we make. This is evident throughout the series as Geralt is forced to confront his own morality and the consequences of his actions, particularly as they relate to his relationship with Ciri, the young princess he is tasked with protecting. Another key theme of The Witcher is the exploration of power and its corrupting influence. This is most evident in the character of Yennefer, a powerful sorceress who initially uses her magic to gain power and control, but ultimately realizes the true cost of her actions. The Witcher also explores themes of prejudice and discrimination, particularly as they relate to the testament of non-human characters, such as elves and dwarves. This is most evident in the character of Jaskier, a human bard who initially views Geralt's non-human companions with disdain, but eventually comes to understand and appreciate their value. One of the key motivations of The Witcher is the search for identity and belonging. This is evident in the character of Ciri, who is forced to flee her home and navigate a dangerous world as she comes to terms with her true identity and the role she is destined to play in the world. The characters of the trio, Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri, undergo significant character development. Geralt of Rivia, played by the charismatic Henry Cavill, is a monster hunter known as the Witcher. At the beginning of the series, he is presented as the loner who is reluctant to get involved in the affairs of others. However, as the series progresses, Geralt begins to develop relationships with those around him, particularly with Ciri. He also begins to question his role in the world and his relationship with destiny. Through his interactions with others, Geralt begins to embrace his humanity and see that he can make a difference in the world. On the other hand, Yennefer of Wengerberg, played by the beautiful Anya Chalotra, is a powerful sorceress who is initially presented as cold and manipulative. However, as the series progresses, we learn more about her backstory and the trauma that she has experienced. We see Yennefer grow, centering around her struggle to overcome her past and find a sense of purpose in the world. She also develops a romantic relationship with Geralt, which further adds to her complexity as a character. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Geralt's relationship with Yennefer is complicated and multifaceted. Initially, they have a purely physical relationship, but as they spend more time together, they begin to develop deeper feelings for each other. Yennefer, who has been emotionally closed off for most of her life, struggles to navigate her newfound emotions and often pushes Geralt away. However, as the series progresses, their relationship becomes more solidified, and they become one of the show's central romantic couples. Despite their differences and occasional disagreements, Geralt and Yennefer deeply care for each other and are willing to do whatever it takes to protect each other. Finally, Ciri, a pivotal character played by the charming Freya Allan, is a young princess who is forced to flee her home after her family is killed. At the beginning of the series, she is presented as vulnerable and scared. However, as the series progresses, Ciri begins to develop her own strength and agency. She also develops a close relationship with Geralt, who becomes a father figure to her. Ciri's character development centers around her journey to find a sense of belonging and to understand her role in the world. Geralt's relationship with Ciri is more of a father-daughter relationship. When they first meet, Geralt is hesitant to take on the responsibility of caring for Ciri. But he ultimately decides to protect her and become a surrogate father figure. Over the course of the series, their relationship deepens, and they become increasingly protective of each other. Ciri begins to look up to Geralt as a role model, and Geralt becomes more willing to open up emotionally to her. Their relationship is often one of the show's most touching aspects, and their scenes together are some of the most powerful. Being a medieval fantasy adventure, the world of The Witcher is enriched with lore, which is heavily influenced by Eastern European folklore. The creatures that Geralt faces, such as the Striga, a cursed princess who transforms into a monster, and the Kikimora, a spider-like creature that lives in swamps, root back to those lores. The show is set on a continent called the Continent, which is divided into several kingdoms and factions that are constantly vying for power. The magic system in the show is intricately woven into the lore, with a complex system of rules and limitations. This is demonstrated through the character of Yennefer, who must make great sacrifices in order to wield her magic. There are plenty of Easter eggs and references to books and video games. For example, in Episode 4, when Geralt is fighting the Striga, a book can be seen with the name Koschei the Deathless on the spine. In Episode 5, Yennefer mentions the mage named Vilgefortz, who is a major villain in the Witcher book series. In Episode 6, there's a subtle reference to the first Witcher game. When Geralt is talking to Queen Calanthe, he mentions a monster called the Dragon. In Episode 7, when Yennefer is being transformed into a sorceress, there's a shot of a painting of a unicorn in the background. In Episode 8, when Geralt is talking to the Doppler, he mentions a character named Regis. In Season 2, Episode 1, there's a reference to the character Roach from the books and games. Henry Cavill's portrayal of Geralt in The Witcher made him irreplaceable and the poster boy for the character. Cavill's physicality, emotional range, and chemistry with his co-stars have helped to bring the character to life in an authentic and engaging way. Not only that, but Cavill's jaw-dropping screen presence, violence with elegance and charm that makes even his sound charismatic are also the major reasons why The Witcher is so popular. The upcoming third season of The Witcher marks the end of an era, as it will be the last time that Henry Cavill graces our screens as the enigmatic Geralt of Rivia. With Cavill's impressive portrayal of The Witcher already under our belts, fans are eagerly anticipating what the next chapter will bring. What's your opinion on this show? And also, any thoughts on Liam Hemsworth taking over the role from Henry Cavill? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you never miss an episode. We'll be back soon with a more critical analysis of your favorite shows and movies. Until then, happy watching!